I was in that forum a couple of weeks ago, and there
Right.
was a hot and heavy discussion about shadowing.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. And there were two topics. One was, is it required that pre-meds have shadowing before they be accepted? And what about virtual shadowing? Is that acceptable? So how would, again, and it was being very hotly debated.
Yeah. And so that, shadowing is almost, and I say this very cautiously, it's almost falling by the wayside for a number of reasons. One is that many physicians have just gotten so busy, especially, it's almost as if the world has changed in the last year.
It has.
Right. So the whole shadowing in person was almost a thing of the past during the pandemic. And it's only now that students are perhaps being, reintroduced and allowed to enter into the clinical spaces with physicians. The other thing, though, and this preceded the pandemic, that a lot of us in the admissions community, it's a conversation we've been having, is how much information do we get about a student because they've shadowed a doctor, and how beneficial has shadowing been to any individual student? And I think it's variable. I think there are students who've had more active engagement during shadowing, and then there are those who just literally shadow. And one of the experiences that I've encouraged students to engage in more than shadowing or alongside shadowing is scribing. And I think that's a much more active way of getting a sense of what doctors really do. You get a sense of kind of terminology, and you get the opportunity to really observe that doctor-patient interaction in ways that you are almost fully engaged in. So there's nothing particularly wrong with shadowing, but students may think that they're getting a sort of ton of brand new points because they've shadowed, and it's not necessarily viewed as robust an experience as perhaps it had been 5-7 years ago.
Right.
And because we've been in primarily a virtual world in the last year, a lot of students, in fact, have been doing kind of virtual scribing and those sorts of things.